All right, so something very strange is happening around the perimeter of the White House, DC, and adjacent buildings with regards to controversial news surrounding Trump, his buildings, permits, Supreme Court rulings, and multiple public events. So today I want to cover some of these things, some of the speculation surrounding what may be happening with regards to this major white hat military operation that is happening right now. So let's get into it. So I want to start with the Supreme Court decision that is going around right now, where the decision to build the military/ballroom complex on the adjacent to the White House has been approved. And this is what President Trump had to say. We are grateful for the decision of the United States Supreme Court, the military ballroom complex being built on the hallowed grounds of the White House, which is so vital for national security, will be the greatest of its kind. It is something that presidents have wanted for 150 years and that the military has been seeking for the last 100 years. Their wish will soon be fulfilled. Construction is under budget and ahead of schedule. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, we know that in the news, people have been against this. There's a drone port. There's a lot of sort of mixed feelings around it. It's been fully funded by President Trump, as well as many other supporters, white hats, Republicans that of that nature, not taxpayer funded, but it has just been approved. And then recently, President Trump allowed a helipad to be built with granite, with marble, or whatever it is. He signed it. There's been some pictures, some photo ops, and this was in the White House front lawn. Now, this has never been done. People just assumed, oh, well, helicopters can, especially Marine One, can take off and do as it wills, but there was never an official helipad. So that has been built or is in process of being built. Now, Ultra Magadine had this to say. President Trump posted 2 truths, which are pictures of himself signing a piece of granite on the new helipad for Marine One on the South Lawn at the White House, and both have timestamps of 4:24 p.m. Let's put this into context. The Supreme Court just ruled that President Trump can continue construction of the White House ballroom, which he follows up with signing a piece of granite at the new helipad being constructed in conjunction with the ballroom on the South Lawn of the White House, saying that, let's look at Q-Post 424, which here says fully operational, resolved. And his commentary being that fully operational means back to construction on the White House ballroom and helipad, resolved meaning that it was done by the Supreme Court. If you're paying attention to your comms, you'll understand exactly what President Trump is telling us. The construction of the White House ballroom, aka military ballroom complex, is now fully operational again, and the legal dispute to stop construction has been resolved. And a lot of Anons here having commentary. Listen to what Clandestine says. Both Trump and the Dem/mainstream media sure have brought a lot of attention to this ballroom/military complex, and the Supreme Court just delivered a massive ruling to continue building. Dems/MSM are extremely upset about this for some reason. If they had any intention of reclaiming the White House in 2028, why would they be mad about having the most up-to-date security with a drone port and subterranean facilities? And even if they don't win 2028, why wouldn't they want the president and his administration to be secure? Why? Because the Dem/MSM are acting on behalf of foreign adversaries who are attempting to conquer this nation from within. They will fail. Now, the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, which is that race happening in DC, has started and has already been completed at this point of time from this video. But President Trump here raising the green flag and people taking notice of this. And somebody noted that this post, where I saw this on the official Republicans' Instagram, and I think posted officially in other places, was basically making this map of the Grand Prix and saying 1.7 miles, the distance. I think other places say 1.66, but again, 1.77 turns. And many people have connected this to post 177, Q-Post 177, saying, learn to read the map, which is this number sequence 1.77, directly showing this map. And again, many people commenting and talking about any sort of symbolism that might be shown here with regards to President Trump waving this flag, connecting it to, for example, post 302, which says for green, or post 1433, where it says military OP or op green. And then this other post 206 saying can't wait for the green light, teams on standby. Is this a clue, a comm? Now, Melissa here said that President Trump is in the Beast, which is the name of his motorcade, or specifically his bulletproof car, circling the track 7 times. It reminds me of Joshua at the Battle of Jericho, circling the city 7 times before the walls of the evil city came crashing down. They named the presidential vehicle, quote unquote, the Beast, because the New World Order beast of Revelation, Antichrist, controlled the president. They never figured on Trump riding in the Beast. I remember a few days ago, President Trump posted this: the Fed building, when will it ever end? This was August 22nd. And somebody tried to take this and connect it to post 1010, because the timestamp 14 or 1624 equates to the same timestamp 1624 from an adjacent Q post where it says money, power, control. And if you move down, the Fed, Rothschild. So is this about taking down the control of the Fed from within, the deep state, the Rothschilds and other families of that sort? And remember, as I mentioned the other day, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, mentioned that we are now entering the end game, mentioning the economic D-Day, and in response to Iran, but more broadly with anybody, the deep state or the swamp, helping funnel money. And so this is from him saying, quote, the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against an adversary. The president has created the conditions to levy every agency, every authority in action many assumed we would never summit. Do not underestimate Bessent. So they're about to see what is going down with regards to money and tying down the funding, the laundering and all that stuff. And then even just less than an hour ago, Iran posting, or President Trump posting about Iran. Iran is completely collapsing, he says, President DJT. And he continues to reiterate that work on the ballroom will continue. And he's very happy about this. And if you remember last year, President Trump mentioned that he's going to be auditing the 8 Smithsonian museums. This was back in August of 2025, and there was an internal review memo, this particular one shown here, asking and saying that, get ready, we want to look at some of what you guys have here, and specifically as it relates to underground tunnels. Many people mentioning that there are subterranean networks that connect between the White House, the Capitol building, the Smithsonian museums you can see here in some of these maps, and that these tunnels were a great asset and beneath the National Mall. So the military presence having full control of DC. We talked about that last year as well. And during that time, he posted this: museums throughout Washington, but all over the country, are essentially the last remaining segment of woke. The Smithsonian is out of control, all in caps, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden had been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future. We are not going to allow this to happen. I've instructed my attorneys to go through the museums and start the exact same process that has been done with colleges and universities, where tremendous progress has been made. The country cannot be woke because woke is broke. We have the hottest country in the world, and we want people to talk about it, including in our museums. Now, this could be a front, meaning that, as Clandestine here mentions, most people see a racetrack in DC, again, referring to the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, but I see security and barricades being put up around the National Mall. Combine this with the U.S. military taking control of DC, the U.S. military securing subterranean transportation in DC, the U.S. military securing the Smithsonian subterranean tunnel network, the U.S. military securing and building a subterranean facility beneath the White House, etc. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I can never turn my military brain off. And I think there may be more to the UFC fight at the White House and Indy car races around DC. I think there's more going on here than meets the eye. What if Trump and the U.S. military knows something is coming and they are maximizing security around DC under the guise of big public events? Again, very interesting commentary. Now here, I'm not saying that everything is being connected for some big thing or it's an illusion for the public and there's something secretive. It could be, but I'm saying that it's very interesting, the timing and the code, the drops, the comms that is being communicated to us at this time. You cannot write that off as some improbable or statistically improbable thing here. But at the same time, it's very interesting, some of the stuff happening with regards to the legal framework, the legal stuff, as well as what's being done publicly that is actually coming out. These racetracks, these walls, the National Mall, all of this being done at this specific time. And with Iran, with all of the deep state stuff, the talk, the economic stuff, very interesting what's happening right now.